These are really good, by the way.
Is that the lime one?
I'm a lime person too.
Yeah.
This song always makes me want to like punch a punching bag or something to it.
It's a good workout. It's like a good way to start a workout or something. Yeah, I agree.
Empowered.
Welcome to the Ugly Truth. It is episode 635. Ugh.
I was like, are we going to say it?
Yes, we're going to say it.
Maybe we should start saying it in different languages and it'll be more interesting.
I don't...
Seis, tres, siete.
Oh, okay.
It's
135.
Yeah, I guess that's the correct way of saying it.
I don't know. I think I just said 135.
I just say...
I don't know what I said. I don't know what I said. Anyway, so yes, welcome to the Ugly Truth. So Michael Chiarello died, and if you don't know who that is, well, let us inform you. Michael Chiarello was a very famous celebrity chef. We actually started watching him when he was on PBS.
Yes. Well,
it was Chiarello's Kitchen, I believe.
He was one of the old school celebrity chefs. So when chefs first started getting notoriety
on PBS, though,
on television,
because it was pre Food Network and all those other things. It was when PBS. Well, actually, PBS cooking shows are still
amazing,
the gold standard. In my opinion.
watched so many of those. I prefer them over the Food Network shows.
Oh my God, me too.
All the time.
Me too.
America's Test Kitchen is one of my favorite shows.
Do you not? I love those people so much. Those ladies.
And you know what's funny?
Are so funny.
That show has been around forever. Do
you know how many Test Kitchen cookbooks I've purchased because of that?
Oh my God, no!
But I'll show them to you.
They're very expensive too, by the way.
Well, they're
now. I don't know if they were. But.
Well, you can buy like the booklet size.
Yeah,
and those are the ones I have.
By the way, I'm a food recipe book person.
I have so many cookbooks. I get them as gifts now.
Aww.
I love them. I'll let you borrow whatever you want.
Oh my God,
I have
no,
so many.
You'll never get it back. So
anyway,
I've been buying my own, but yes, I get it. So
Chiarello, he had his very first cooking show, and I just
he's Italian, by the way.
He, obviously, yes.
Well, his name, yes, but he looks kind of white.
I guess so.
I always thought he did. I did not know. Yeah.
First of all, he was only 61, which is just absolutely shocking.
Jimmy, his manner of death.
Anaphylactic shock.
I'm telling you.
And he was in the hospital for a week.
They tried to save him. I think he was like brain dead.
Here's what I think.
No oxygen.
Daryl and I have talked about this at length. And he was, well, first of all, we were at a party and my friend Becky texted me. And she's
Becky.
She texted me. She goes, Michael Chiarello died. Now, she loves Michael Chiarello almost more than me. And I was like, she met him. She went to Bottega and he was there. This was many, many years ago.
Ooh.
Bottega is his restaurant in Napa.
Well, yeah. And just so the listeners know, I don't always have the luxury of eating like really fine dining all that often. And one time as a treat, you and Daryl took me to Bottega.
Yes.
And it was one of my most favorite memories.
It's amazing. It's a great restaurant. It's very family style.
It wasn't stuffy.
No, but
the food was to die for.
It was delicious. Anyway, so she's like, Michael Chiarello. I'm like, what? And I go, what? And everyone in the party goes, what? And I go, Michael Chiarello died. And they're all, who? And I was like, never mind.
He's not Bobby Flay.
Apologies. I didn't, I created a scene. It was an accident. So anyway, anaphylactic shock. So Daryl looks it up later in the weekend. We're looking at, he goes, the number one reason that people die of anaphylactic shock is not food. It's antibiotics or chemotherapy.
Oh, I had no idea.
And because why would you even know if you were allergic to chemotherapy unless you wouldn't know?
Because the average person doesn't do those things.
Most people don't know until they know. So Daryl and I were like, well, maybe he was on antibiotics and he didn't know he was allergic to something and he had a significant reaction, goes to the hospital and then just doesn't recover. Maybe he found out he had some kind of low-key cancer, and so he was treating it, got a dose of chemo, and immediately went into anaphylactic shock, and they just couldn't recover because chemo ain't no joke.
Right.
I don't know, but if it was a food allergy, that is shocking.
It would be.
Anyway, with that being said, I
was just surprised altogether that's what he died from.
I can't believe it.
I was thinking like heart attack or whatever.
What a strange thing.
So that. And not only that, but the idea of dying from anaphylactic shock is like the most horrifying thing.
It's so scary
because you literally like just suffocate until you can't breathe.
I think he was in a coma, right?
I mean, eventually, but anaphylactic shock is where
I can't even
everything
imagine.
Swells shut.
And it's not like he had an EpiPen because he didn't
can't
know.
breathe. Yeah, you can't breathe. And then you're without oxygen and you pass out.
Horrible.
And if they don't get to you in time,
he could have lost
brain dead.
brain function.
Yeah.
So with that being said, I was thinking about how long I've been a fan of his.
Yeah.
And I remember that we as girls used to watch his show on channel PBS.
Yeah, and he did have a Food Network show eventually.
I mean, yes, he did.
Yeah.
But I mean, initially we were just like, we love him so much.
Yeah.
And remember, we thought he was related to Rick Bayless forever because they looked alike.
Yeah.
But they're not. They're completely different people. But
Yeah.
I just remember I loved his show. And I remember going, God, I could make this food. Like, he's making it look so easy.
Yeah.
And then a few years ago, I mean, it's probably been almost 10 years now, I went to Eat Drink SF, which is this food and wine thing that San Francisco,
It's like an event, right?
it's an event, and all the brands are there.
Yeah.
They're sampling and testing out all their new product.
Right. It's basically like different restaurants and different chefs all come together to put stuff on display for people to try.
It's great.
And you paid for it, right? And
Yeah. And then, but he was the celeb chef when we were there. So he was doing a big thing where he was making tomato sauce and stuff, and you could just watch him do his thing. And I interacted with him there because I was such a fan. I was like, I can't believe, I'm seeing Michael Chiarello. This is so great. I've been to his restaurant. His wine was amazing, just everything. So he's talking about tomato sauce and why sometimes your tomato sauce is watery, and he's going through all the things.
I love it.
It was so exciting. And I was like, I raised my hand. I mean, Stephanie, I am not a joiner. I don't do that.
Participated.
But I participated, and he's talking to, and we had a conversation, and people were laughing, and it was amazing. And I'm like, God. I love it. I actually have pictures. I will send them to you later so you can see all the pictures I took at that place, because I just took all these pictures of him, and I was like, that's Michael Chiarello. I was so excited. Nerding out about a chef, but I don't give a shit. It was great.
Really don't, we don't celeb crush often.
I don't, but but he, what's funny too, is he's actually quite masculine.
Uh-huh. Well, he's Italian.
Well, I know, but what's funny is that when you see him on TV or whatever, you think, oh, he's just this dude, he's just this gentle person who likes to cook or whatever. And then in real life, he's very macho.
Well,
he acts macho.
I don't like to speak ill of the dead, but
okay.
I have read in certain forums that he was a prick to work for.
Really?
And that he was a little misogynist.
Well, that's not surprising.
Right. And to be fair though, and I'm not going to get on any kind of bandwagon or movement or anything, because I just don't believe in that shit. Although I believe in the reasons behind them, and I support women and all of that.
Sure.
But I just think in certain fields of there is just more, some stuff like that is more prevalent.
Yes. Well, kitchens are very
sexist traditionally, and
they are changing.
They are changing.
Yes,
I agree. But I don't necessarily hold somebody accountable for what's always been.
Yeah, well, I think that he was one of the first chefs to be held accountable, to be fair. And
totally.
I think that was a lot of the change. They're like, we got to change our shit.
And that's one of the reasons why he stopped being on TV.
Yeah. And then not only that, but then so after that lawsuit happened, he actually stepped out of the kitchen completely and hired executive chefs.
He did.
And I will say, on that note, the food quality has gone down a bit at Bottega since then. But, whatever.
Well, sometimes you got to do what you got to do, because it is a business.
And now and then his wife divorced him after that. And now I'm just like, Daryl and I are actually going to Napa this weekend. And on Sunday, we're going to go to Bottega.
Oh, yum.
And have a cocktail. Yay. Kind of like a fond farewell.
And nostalgia.
Well, more like we're just going to kind of,
this has been a part of our life, and now we have to let it go.
Homage to Chef Chiarello. And, I assume that
have you checked to see if,
it's open?
Okay.
Yeah. Well,
no, not that it wouldn't be open. I just didn't know if you needed a reservation, because is everybody going to have the same thought? Yeah.
We made one just in case. But what's interesting is where Bottega is, he has another restaurant, but he owns that entire area. Right. He owns the entire marketplace.
Well, he did.
His company does. his conglomerate.
Now his heirs are.
His children.
Yeah, that's
And
good.
one of his children works at Meadowood, which is like Michelin's level.
Not his?
No.
Oh,
this is like next level restaurant.
Okay, cool.
It's just, and every single chef that you can think of, from Thomas Keller, all of the chefs, Bobby Flay, everybody has paid homage to Chiarello because he is one of the OGs.
For sure. Well, God, the man was extraordinarily talented. Any of the other stuff we were talking about, I never like to take away from somebody's true talent.
Oh, yeah. And
the man was brilliant. He could cook.
And he was very good on camera.
He was
very good on camera.
He was so cute.
He's a cutie pie, but he was also, his eyes were so endearing.
Yeah.
And he really, the camera really loved him.
Yeah.
And he was a great cook. Great chef. And he was a CIA graduate from the New York campus. And he's from Red Bluff, California.
So he's about as normal as you can get.
Yeah, he's
Look up Red Bluff on the calendar.
Pretty normal.
Yeah.
Anyway, so it's sad, and it's sad that he was so young.
It was very sad that he was young. And I didn't know he had so many children. That's very sad.
God, and I think they're all daughters.
Aw.
He has all daughters.
So sad.
61 is young. I'm sorry.
Rest in peace, Michael. We will miss you.
I agree. And then I read this today that, so we talked about Britney Spears. Her book is coming out.
Yes.
A lot of people are not excited. Justin Timberlake is terrified. Terrified. And I'm like, what did you do? What did you do to her?
Well, things that probably he thought nobody would ever know.
Well, we already know that he cheats. Yeah. So if that's what it is, whatevs. But still, she took so much heat when they broke up.
She did.
That
all of it.
Yeah. So it'll be nice to know what really went down.
Yeah. I'm curious to see how vindictive she is or isn't.
I just want her to be absolutely brutal.
I hope she is.
Brutal.
I think it would be good for everybody. Good. I also think her.
It'll be good because if anyone, she's like able to tell us what it's really like in the music industry as a kid.
Absolutely.
Because most of them, nobody really talks about it. We have freaking Corey Feldman, who's a nightmare of a person. By the way, I'm still blocked. I'm still blocked because I made fun of his angels.
And now he's getting divorced from I don't even know, from Courtney. Yeah. Girl, I don't even know if they were ever married.
They weren't married. In fact, that was what happened is that I didn't make fun, but I was kind of poking fun at the fact that he called the women who backed him up in his band angels. Mm-hmm. And then he proposed to one in a booth at a restaurant in Vegas. And I thought it was a little funny. And I don't know how he found out about it, but I'm blocked now.
That is interesting that I don't know if he has people who check it or if he himself does.
I don't know, but I don't
think he's that famous that he would have like a whole bunch of people.
The problem is that I actually like Corey Feldman.
He's weird, Jamie. I saw him on Celebrity Wife Swap.
Of course he's weird.
Beyond weird.
He is, but he was one of the Corys.
I know. And
he was in the Lost Boys.
And
he was in Goonies.
I know.
He was the voice of Copper as a puppy.
Know. Oh my God, stop. Yes.
And I will say this.
Why'd you do it?
You're supposed to do that when you find what you've been tracking. But here's the thing.
So cute.
I saw a video of him he's still performing in a band.
I know, it's so bad too.
The Angels are gone.
Right. Duh.
But he sang.
Thank God those women. I'm telling you, I watched him on Celebrity Wife Swap.
Yeah.
And he swapped with Courtney.
Oh boy.
And I can't remember
who? What person?
I cannot remember who the other celebrity wife was. It was someone notable.
Sure.
And they always do it to where it's like somebody that's like polar opposite.
Of course.
So somebody who has like a humble family life and they love their kids and she comes into like horror town. She's like, what? No, I'm not wearing bunny ears.
Put these wings on.
Calling you master or whatever. I can't remember what the whole deal was, but it was just really weird. So
this is unhinged. I'm not doing any of this.
Yes. Well, so when I watched that, I was like, this man is so disgusting, and I don't get it.
Now, I do realize that I do believe him when he says that there has been some really horrific things that have happened to him. I believe him completely. Me too. He won't name names, and I don't know why. Either he doesn't remember, or he's just I don't know.
Maybe it's not worth it to go through it.
He's made
it's just worth it enough to say, look, it happened. Believe me.
Yeah, and I believe him.
I do too.
And that might be why he's so insane looking or crazy acting.
For sure.
I don't know, but I will say that apparently his performances are improving.
Oh, okay.
Which is good. And you know what? Hey, practice makes perfect, right?
Well, I give the man props for maintaining some semblance of relevancy in the entertainment industry.
Yeah.
However, pathetic it is. Yeah. And the only reason why I say it's pathetic is because I just don't like men who portray women as objects or possessions.
Right.
Whether it's to be funny or to stay relevant. I can't with that.
Yes. That part seems to have gone away.
And they're very age inappropriate.
100%.
These are young girls.
Dude, he's our age. He has no business
being with a 19-year-old.
No, that's disgusting.
No, he would be a dead man if that was my wife. Or your daughter. Excuse me. Yeah.
And I mean, honestly, why can't he act? Maybe that he just doesn't want to do it anymore.
Well, I don't think he's being offered a lot of roles. I mean,
no. I mean, if Shia LaBeouf can work, if Mel Gibson can work, Corey Feldman can work.
Well, they're living off of their legendary status, and what are they really doing anyway?
I have no idea.
There's just
so many filth,
Yellowstone and Rust, and all this shit. That's like the only thing keeping these people alive.
It's so
or
true.
All of these shows, you know.
You know who has to stop getting married is Kevin Costner.
Yeah, well, he's learning a very valuable lesson.
He really needs to stop marrying these 20-year-olds. Yeah. Like, what the hell is his problem? Stop it, dude.
You get what you fucking deserve.
Stop it, man. Stop giving them children. Why does he?
Because why?
My 25-year-old wife wants a child.
I'll tell you.
Don't do it.
Why?
What, isn't dust coming out of your penis at this point?
He shouldn't, right? If I'm him, I would not. No. But these women are no fucking idiots because every one of them have had to sign an ironclad prenup.
They're like, but I'm having a baby.
But the only way I'm going to get money out of you is if we have a kid because you can't dictate child support.
That's right.
And so what's her name? She's
Does he have like 8 children now?
I don't even know.
Some
of them are like our age. You know, and then he's got like a 10-year-old or a 5-year-old.
Be like, hey, Megan. Yeah, Dad. So, your friend is pregnant. We're having a baby. It's like, oh, Jesus fucking Christ.
Dad, really?
Awesome, Dad. Thanks.
Yeah. Well, we were just
a little less of your inheritance. Don't worry about me. Trust, Dad. I don't give a crap.
We were just Jerry and I were just talking about the fact that Al Pacino just had a baby.
Stephanie, that man.
I think he's 81.
He's so wrinkled.
And his wife is like 25.
He looks like an old grocery bag in the back of your pantry. Like, why?
Like the one you forgot about.
Can you stop? You look like an old onion. Stop it.
And I mean, God, I don't know how to feel about the women who take advantage and marry him because he's wealthy and famous.
One of the most iconic actors of our time.
But I mean, God. Do you have not? I can't.
Would you? Okay. What if you? You had to. You have no options. You have to do this.
Okay.
Al Pacino, Robert De Niro, or Kevin Costner.
Al Pacino, Robert De Niro. Well, I hate Robert De Niro with a white hot heat. Because he's one of those men who thinks because he's a celebrity in Hollywood
that people give a shit about his opinion.
What he says.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I just cannot with those people. I'm like, you are no different than any other human being.
You just happen to have a face that everyone knows.
Thank you. Yeah. And you're an idiot. And so he's not an idiot for being anti-Trump. I fully agree with him.
No, it's not
but
that.
It's just the fact that he thinks he's so relevant and so important.
Here's my other question is, why do people put a mic in front of him and ask him questions? Just stop it. Up.
Well, he learned because when Trump...
he's very quiet now.
Yes. Because it wasn't that people didn't agree that Trump was an idiot. We all did.
He's literally practically threatening violence, and I'm like, what are you gonna do?
He was.
What are you gonna do, old man? If you trip over a crack in New York, you're gonna break a hip, and it's over for you. Stop it.
Right. So it can't be Robert De Niro. Not to mention the fact that he's not my type. He's Italian and he's got dark hair. The other ones were Kevin Costner or Al Pacino. God, can you throw in a blonde?
No. Is it Kevin Costner blonde?
Who knows now? He's so old. I mean.
Gary, what's that crazy guy?
Gary Busey.
Gary Busey. He's blonde.
He has head trauma.
No.
Yes.
Stop it. No.
Okay, none of those choices are acceptable.
Let me tell you something.
That was Jim Carrey.
I know. It's the only thing I can think of when I think of his face.
Oh God, but that is what he looks like. Oh God,
sorry.
He does look like a burn patient.
A little bit. He looks like a bird.
Poor thing.
I feel bad for him, but you know.
No, I do too. But I think he had severe substance abuse issues, and like that's the reason why he was in a motorcycle accident.
Is that why he looks like that?
Yeah, because he did get a traumatic brain injury.
Oh, I'm sorry. All right,
we're kind of sorry, but not that much. His best movie to me was Point
Buddy
Break.
Holly.
With Keanu.
Oh.
That was pretty good too. That was really old. But so was Point Break.
Although I thought he was weird in Buddy Holly, frankly.
Yeah, he was. Well, he was good because Buddy Holly was weird.
It's true. Buddy Holly would be an icon right now if he was alive.
So many people would be. What do you mean? Freaking Richie Valens. Richie! Not my Richie! Oh my God, we were just doing that at work the other day.
God, I love that. Oops.
Yeah, so, okay. All right, no, now it's my turn.
Yes.
I couldn't pick one of those.
Oh, okay.
Okay, but I'm doing it
I
for
will
you.
assign one to you.
Honestly, okay, the least atrocious of the three physically is Kevin Costner.
Yeah, but he's such an asshole.
Right. Which is why I'm like, how could you do this to me? Al Pacino is beyond gross.
He would actively hate you.
I know.
That's the problem. He would actively be aggressive. He'd be aggressively angry with you.
Disgust me.
He's like, I hate that your sister made me marry you.
I know. So I guess it would have to be by default Al Pacino.
Yeah.
Just because he's the least, well, that we know of.
Maybe he's really charming.
Well, he's something. I mean,
He must be. I mean, he's got a kid
God damn.
with some young lady.
Because that's what money does. I mean, come on, she didn't marry him for love. Oh
Hey.
my God, you're the love of my life. You remind me of my great-great-grandfather. He's a wonderful man.
It's like, so I was doing my genetic history. I was on Ancestry. And you know what's hilarious is you're the same age as my great-grandfather.
No, my great-great-grandfather, because I'm 25 and you're 81. Okay, so for you, it would be Keith Richards.
Oh my God.
Okay. Steven Tyler. I'm going musical.
Okay.
Or let me think of one more.
Let me think of some crumpled old man.
No. I'm trying to think of someone whose music we still love. Paul McCartney.
Oh, I'd pick Paul McCartney.
Okay, I thought so.
That was too easy.
I know.
You were being nice to me.
Well,
because in
but
a minute.
Jimmy, he's ancient.
I don't give a shit. It's Paul McCartney.
Yeah.
And he's so freaking talented. He's so good. He would write me a song.
He would.
Stephanie.
A sonnet.
He would write me a sonnet.
He would.
And I would love it for life. And when he died,
well, and there's so many things we love about Paul McCartney. He married the love of his life, Linda. He treated her like a princess.
he really did.
He married a girl with one leg.
Legless, whatever her name was. She was mean. No one liked her.
Heather. I can't remember what her
Heather,
name is.
you're right.
She looks like a Heather.
Everybody hated her because she was so mean.
She was money grubby.
Somebody tried to say that he took her leg in an argument, and I'm like, she probably deserved it.
No, I think she already had one leg when he married her.
She did, but
Yeah.
he took her prosthetic from her so she couldn't chase.
Oh, I thought you meant, okay.
No, he took it so she was stuck. And I'm like, I hope she had to crawl up the stairs.
I would have
she
done
was
it.
so mean.
I would absolutely do it.
But he's married now, and he's very happy.
Now he's super happy.
Yes.
Indeed. So, yeah,
but
you're
I'd
right.
pick-
That
I'd-
was...
that was too easy. But
You're
yes, I was hoping you weren't going to say like Axl Rose or something, because then I would be
that's
really
a good
screwed.
one. I should have.
Be so screwed. I would still probably pick. Oh God, I don't know, because Steven Tyler's getting old.
Well, how about no, he's too cute. Never mind. I was going to say Anthony from Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Keith Richards would probably outlive me. That's the thing. I think he's half cockroach.
I think he already died twice and came back. So that's why he looks like that.
He's got to deal with someone, that's for sure.
But the man has
That
more money
dude-
than God. So
Oh shit! And he's got a lot of kids too. They all
Does
have,
he?
Yes, they have all these children.
women will line up and have children.
But you
for
know what? I think
money.
when money is not even something you think about because you can't spend the amount of money that you have.
Yeah.
Having kids is no big deal.
No.
I think it's different.
It's like Nick Cannon. You know, he has so much money. He's like, people are like, you can't keep having children. He's like, why not?
Who cares?
I'll pay for them all.
I'll get them
They'll all
nannies.
have trust funds.
Yeah, they're all gonna never spend what they have
Ever. So who cares?
I remember
Yeah.
when this was a long time ago when someone said that Garth Brooks has so much money that his great-great-grandchildren will never spend
Interesting.
all the money.
Do you think he has a happy marriage with Trisha Yearwood?
I do, because I think that she worships him.
Yeah.
I think that he has a colossal ego.
Oh my God.
And that's just built into it.
Yeah.
I
But I mean,
don't-
how
I-
sad for her, because she's her own musical talent in her own right, right?
She is.
Is she-
She's not, I mean, I think unfortunately when you are affiliated with somebody like Garth Brooks,
Yeah.
it's going to completely diminish anything you
That
have
you
on
had.
your own. Like, you know, Faith Hill and Tim McGraw, for example, two very incredible performers and singers. Faith Hill is way better, in my opinion, than Tim McGraw in the singing category.
Musically, yes.
Way better. So you know what he did? He's acting now.
Yeah,
and
well,
he's way better than her because
he's on tour right this moment.
Well, I know, but what I'm saying is that he found a niche, and he is an incredible actor.
He is.
And Faith Hill has done a little acting, and she's not nearly as good as he is.
Well, apparently they're on one of the Yellowstone fucking shows.
1800 something.
Whatever it's called.
Yeah, I started watching it.
And somebody told me they were really good.
They are really good. And you know what? They had to add prosthetics to Faith Hill to make her look haggard.
Because she's so beautiful.
Because she's so good looking.
Yes, she is.
She's stunning.
Well, they both are, to be fair.
He's really cute in that show, too. He's got a great body.
Jamie.
Holy crap,
There's
that
something
guy.
about, you know how there's certain
And he's
people...
our age. He's like, actually, he's older than us.
Okay, good.
He's so cute.
Yeah, well, he's very dedicated to his looks and his body.
Well, he has to. It's how he stays sober.
One of the movies that I will always remember him in is Flicka. I know that's dumb.
That's a good movie.
But it's the perfect role for him because he plays a dad. He plays a country dad, you know. And he is fine as fuck in that movie.
What is the movie with Gwyneth Paltrow where she Country Strong? Stephanie, that movie.
Jamie, and I hate Gwyneth Paltrow with a passion.
I will never not watch that movie.
But I love it.
First of all,
I'm going to have to go home and watch it because I haven't watched it in so long. Why is that one of the movies they don't play 30,000 times a year? Like they do Sweet Home Alabama.
Gwyneth Paltrow is the least exciting part of that movie, actually. The Garrett Hedlund, oh, Jesus Christ, that guy is so fucking hot in that movie. I'm like, where is this person? Like,
what happened to him?
Yeah, and Daryl goes, I'm watching it. This was many years ago. I'm watching it at home. I'm watching it in my room. And I'm just like, God, he's so cute. And he sings good and all the things. And Daryl walks in and goes, hey, that guy's in Tron. I'm like, what? He goes, yeah, he's in the new Tron. He plays his son. I'm like, I need to watch Tron.
I need to watch Tron now.
And he looks just as good. Yes.
Oh, good. Well,
and he's like from Minnesota. He's some dude. He's like just a dude.
Yeah, well,
cute dude.
He must know someone,
I'm sure,
to end up in pure country.
Anyway, so speaking of nothing, I was looking at this article about the 7 worst behaviors when you're plane traveling.
Oh God,
traveling on a plane. So I gave you the list. So we're going to go through them.
It's unfortunate that plane travel is necessary because if it wasn't, if there was another way to shoot me faster to somewhere I would never do it. It's so miserable.
Airport travel is not fun, and it's never been.
Well,
frankly.
I mean, even on the plane is an unpleasant experience nowadays.
When you crave first class, you think, "Oh, this will result." It doesn't.
It doesn't.
First class is not what it used to be.
And many people say that.
It's literally not the. I mean, Daryl and I would look at. He's like, "Well, let's look at first class," and I'm like, "Let's upgrade," and he's like, "It's no different." It's literally the same.
Yeah.
We're just in the front of the plane.
It's a little different, but...
Well, during the pandemic, it was not.
Well, that's probably true.
Okay. Okay. So these are definitely not in order, but the very first deadly sin of airplane travel is asking to switch seats.
Agreed.
I have never had anyone have the audacity.
I haven't either.
Oh, wait. They didn't. Okay. I take that back. Actually, Daryl and I were on our way to Boston. This was Boston.
Yeah.
And we had
the most horrific flight travel of your life.
One of the worst. But this was when we were in Sacramento and we were heading to Boston.
And it wasn't bad yet.
So we were still, happy and excited about doing it. We didn't have any bad experiences yet. And so we're sitting there. I'm on the window seat. Daryl's so nice. He sits in the middle because he wants
That is fucking nice.
Well, he wants to sit next to me.
Of course. But he sat in the middle.
Yeah, because it's always a woman that sits next to him for the most part. So
that's fine.
Whatever. And he, we just lift the middle part, the middle armrest. And then
so you could be close.
So he scooches over and then it's not so bad.
Yeah.
So anyway, we're sitting there and I don't know what is going on, but because we really keep to ourselves. Once we're on a plane, it's like, just don't talk to me until it's time to leave.
Thank you.
This woman is sitting next to us. There's some situation in the aisleway. Somebody wants to sit next to their daughter. And these aren't children. These are adults.
Right.
And the woman who literally has nothing to do with any of this.
The one next to Daryl, right?
Yes. Volunteers me and said,
"Excuse me?
I'm sure that this woman would be happy to move." And I go,
"Excuse me?"
and Daryl has earphones on, so he has no idea.
I would have looked at him like,
he doesn't know. So I go like this and I look and she's not even looking at me because she probably knows. And I'm sitting there and look, and this man is looking at me and I'm like, "Do not involve me." And he goes, okay.
And I don't know why she's talking about me.
And so then the woman goes, oh, you don't want to move? And I'm like, you need to stop talking because I don't even know what this is. I go, but you don't know me. I'm not moving. I am not fucking moving.
Yeah, and hello, do you not see me canoodling with my husband?
Like, serious. Well, we don't canoodle, but I know what you're saying.
Do you know what I mean? You lifted the armrest.
We clearly look like we're together.
Thank you.
And so I'm like, no. And so she's like, well, she really wants to. So I'm like, I'm sorry. I'm fairly certain I was clear. I was getting hostile. And I'm like, in my brain, I'm like,
but you can't.
Well, not only that, but in my brain, I'm like, this is why people lose their shit on planes.
True.
Because it's like,
people get so dumb.
Well, not only that, but it's like, why did I go from 0 to 60 so quickly? Because you don't speak for me. And this is not the time.
And by the way, we're sitting like a foot from each other.
Inches.
It's all bad.
So finally, she won't shut up. And I'm done. I have backed myself out. I'm like, I'm not getting myself kicked off this flight. This is a 7-hour flight. I am not. The flight attendant comes over.
Is there a problem?
No. But he turns to the woman and he goes, you have nothing to do with this. We aren't switching seats. That's not how this works.
Oh, thank God.
So you need to stop.
I'm so grateful for people in charge.
Thank God. And and I know somebody who's a flight attendant, they don't even get paid until the door shuts.
Absolutely.
They're doing all of this for free.
So they're like, shut the fuck up.
I want to get the door shut so I can get paid.
Thank you.
And so, by the way, word to the wise, please bring treats or goodies for your flight attendants.
That is a very good tip.
Just give them something.
Well, nothing homemade because
Candy.
Nobody wants to open something that...
And you can't anyway. But buy it at the store before you get on the plane.
I've heard this, and we've all heard it now, but Starbucks gift cards are always gratefully appreciated.
Anything.
Yes.
So anyway, I was like,
Deserved.
Never ever volunteer anyone for starters and never ask to switch seats.
Idiot.
Flight attendants don't like that.
They like order.
Well, not only that, but God forbid something bad happens.
Well, there's just
they need to know where you are.
I mean, seriously, that is the reason why airlines of all, I think for the most part, as far as I know, at least with maybe the exception of Southwest, you choose your seat when you buy the ticket.
For a reason.
We all know where we're going.
That's right.
You already know it before you get on the goddamn plane.
Yes.
And there's no fucking confusion about where you're supposed to be.
Excuse me.
No.
I'm like, no, I do mind actually.
Yeah.
I pay, and for the most part, outside of Southwest, you paid for that seat.
True.
You hand selected and paid probably more money to get the seat you're in.
I've paid the $8 to sit in the row
or whatever.
Whatever. Yeah, I've done it. No, well, they make it very convenient for you now.
Right,
you can spend as much or as little as you'd like.
That's right. All right. What's the second one?
Using both armrests. Yeah, unless you're ginormous and you just can't help it.
It's always a man.
But damn it.
Always a man.
I
One time, I
agree.
told you about the one time that I was on my way from Dallas to Phoenix, and it was a terrible flight. It was delayed, and I was sitting in the middle between two men, and they both used the armrest. I had no armrest.
So you're like...
I'm literally sitting like with my arms at my side, and one, of course, was tremendously large. And the other one was probably like a Daryl's size, but he fell asleep and he used my shoulder as a pillow.
Oh, that would not happen in my life.
Stephanie,
ever.
I couldn't escape. I would have
nudged hard.
I tried.
I was like,
It didn't work. He was drunk. It was not. It was awful. It was awful. And I'm like, I think I'm getting sick.
I would have lived in the bathroom.
Well, and that's what happened. Well, I couldn't. It was a full flight. It was bouncy. It was everything. I got up, and that was the one where
I would have pushed the button and been like,
help! I ran to my other connecting flight and wet my pants because I held it the whole way. Because I didn't know the flight was going to be so long. I thought it was like a quick flight. It was like a 3 fucking hour flight.
Oh, hell no.
It was awful.
Depends.
Please, someone.
Like, I will wear a Depend next time I fly.
Yeah.
They make them quite slim now. No one would know.
They're slimming. I had no idea.
That's awful.
Yeah. Please don't take all the armrests.
And it would... I hate to generalize, but only a man, because men are so goddamn selfish. They do not have a considerate bone in their body, with the exception of Dub.
Well, no, I think men like him. If a man has...
You're right.
If they're very cognizant of women in any way whatsoever...
I like to think people, but
would you like the armrest?
Yeah.
Can I give you the
You wouldn't
armrest?
even have to ask. I would just do it. And then if I saw that after an appropriate period of time you weren't utilizing it, then perhaps I'd be like, is it all right?
Yes.
But I am always going to make it available to you initially, so you don't have to ask.
Honestly,
you shouldn't have to ask.
I've seen
rude ass fucking people.
I've seen some hogs of women take both sides.
Same. But you know what? But
in a
when
movie
they do
theater or anywhere.
Yeah, but when a woman does it, it's purposeful. They know full well what they're doing.
They're like, I'm taking this fucking armrest.
And what are you going to do about it?
Nothing. Mm-hmm. Nothing. Okay, third.
Because you're polite and you have manners.
Reclining your seat all the way back. Here's the thing about that. Just because you can doesn't mean you should.
I agree.
Depending on the flight.
I think it's a judgment call.
Yeah.
If the person behind you has got theirs completely down and they're passed the fuck out,
sure,
it's probably okay.
Kenzie, we were on our way home from Hawaii, and Mackenzie,
they just need to stop making them that way.
Well, that's what I'm saying. This old man leaned his as far back as she could. She had about 2 inches. And finally she goes, "Sir, you need to raise your seat." And I am way on the other side of the plane and I can hear her. Uh-oh. And she was having some anxiety because it's a 5-hour flight and she was under 21, so she wasn't drinking alcohol. Stephanie, I gave her like 3 Benadryl and it didn't do a thing.
She was wide awake.
She was wired. And so she's like, "Sir, sir." And I was like, oh shit. But this is the same girl who said something about a bomb when we were going through security.
Right, that would be me. Because she was anxious, right?
Yes, very.
Well, I have a funny story. When this was before Jerry and I, everybody knows we were both married before forever, and he was on his way to Hawaii, and that's a long flight, and there's no stops. You just fly straight over there.
Yeah,
it's 5 hours. What, 6 hours?
Yeah, 5 or 6.
So it's longish, pretty long.
I think so.
I think so too. And so this woman in front of him. It wasn't necessarily that she reclined her seat all the way. She did it when they were serving dinner.
Oh, God.
So they were serving dinner. The flight attendants had passed out all the entrees. His family and him had just received theirs. Mm-hmm. And she's like, "No, I'm not hungry." And proceeds to put her seat all the way back. Why they had their tray tables down. The whole cabin's eating dinner, right? And so Jerry basically has his tray table in his chest.
Awesome.
Embedded,
That's unacceptable.
So he says something to her, like, "Ma'am, do you think you could just keep the seat up until we're done eating?" And she's like, "No, I'm exhausted." And he was like, so then he calls for the flight attendant.
He goes, "What do I do?"
Mm-hmm. She comes and she's like, "Ma'am, we're having, could you please just," she's trying to be polite, ask the same thing. And she's like, "Absolutely not. I paid for my seat. There's no rules that say I can't have my seat back. I don't know. I'm going to sleep."
I'd be like, "Oh, so you're going to be a cunt." Okay.
Exactly.
Great.
Yep. She doubled down and decided to be a cunt. So at this point, Jerry has exhausted his ability to be polite because my husband's not good at that anyway.
No.
You get like one chance with him and then he's going to turn into an animal because he just does. So what does he do? He takes his food, he hands it to his wife, puts it on her tray, and he shoves the seat as hard as he fucking can and practically catapults her out of her seat.
I'm failing.
And he's like, "Move." He's like, "Put your fucking seat up, lady." And just turns it into a full-blown conversation. Now, the only reason why they got away with, and so then she starts shoving back. So they're shoving back and forth.
Where is her family? Where is she alone?
It sounded like she was either traveling alone or the husband was cowering next to her.
Oh, no.
I think that's what it was, if I remember the story
He's
correctly.
probably like, "Again, Carol?"
Yes. Absolutely. Like, I am out of it. This is all bad for me if I get involved. So,
yeah, really. It's like, I don't feel like punching anyone today because you're a bitch.
So they have this shoving war going on. And at this point, Jerry's wife is like, "Stop." Like, "Okay, we get it. She's a cunt, but we're going to have to deal with it."
I would even say that. I'd be like, "Look, I know she's a total cunt."
Yeah, of course.
Like really loud.
But I know his ex-wife and she wouldn't. But yes, I get it.
Yeah.
So she's like, "We're 2 hours into a 5.5 hour flight."
Oh shit.
You know what I'm saying?
It's
So
early.
we can't do this. And so next thing he knows, here comes the sky marshal.
Oh no.
Yes, because the pilot can't even come out at this point.
No, they're still ascending.
Right.
We're still going up.
Well, they're flying. I don't know what was going on, but
Right.
the sky marshal was the one who attended to the situation.
Oh,
and
boy.
basically told her, thank God, that if she did not comply and stop, that she was going to be arrested when they landed.
Sweet.
And she stopped immediately.
Good.
But needless to say, I was like, wow, it's incredibly. And nowadays, this happened back in the 80s.
Oh man, this would have been.
Both of them would have been in cuffs in the back of the plane.
They would have been duct taped
for sure.
to something immediately, some papoose
Yeah.
sport in the back.
You can't.
It's like, you guys go work it out in the back.
Straight jackets. Yeah.
I mean, immediately.
Yeah, no, you wouldn't get away with that shit now. But yeah.
Yeah, no.
I was very, very glad I wasn't married to him at that time.
I wish they didn't allow those things to recline though, because or at least have some rules in place.
Yeah.
Because it's like, it's so rude.
It is.
It's
And I know
so
this would be
rude.
way too much to ask, but I feel like it should be like the seatbelt sign. Like the
Yeah.
captain has to click a button before you can recline.
Yeah.
And if he unclicks it, then your seats come up and you don't have a fucking choice about it.
I love it. I love that. Because they only tell
Boeing,
you,
pay attention.
they only tell you to sit up when you're getting ready to land.
Truthfully,
they
yeah.
don't really, they say everything trays up, blah, blah, blah.
Well, you know what would be even the better solution is if people acted like human beings
And not acting like they were at their house.
and didn't have to be told to have manners in public.
It sure would be nice. In fact, on that note, here's number 4, which I think is the worst of them all, taking off your shoes and socks.
If you want to live, you won't sit next to me and do that.
Honestly, Stephanie, I can't imagine. I'm sure it's happened.
You know what I would do? I would throw up on their lap because it would make me gag. And I would just turn my face that way when I did it.
When I see
That's what you
those,
get.
when I see those photos of people take pictures where the people behind them
See,
have put their foot,
I'm ready to gag. We're talking about it. I'm
like they put their bare paw through the side and it's laying on their armrest. Do you know what I would do if someone did that to me? I would stab them.
A socked foot is almost as disgusting
worse.
to me. I think it's worse.
It's worse than
Jerry
a bare
slept
one.
in his socks the other day. Jamie,
You're like, why?
you should have seen his face in the morning when I was like, you slept in those? And he's like, what? He's like, I was cold last night. I'm like, those were the socks you wore yesterday.
You need to burn those.
And you slept in them too.
You need to put those in the receptacle
Yeah, and
immediately.
he's like, what? And
I'm not
everything.
even washing those.
I'm like, I'm sorry. I'm like, that's disgusting. And he's
like, what?
He's looking at his feet and he's so perplexed. I'm like, I don't even want to talk about what those must smell like.
We have the most strangest rules of life.
Like, he went in the garage and was like,
He's like, what?
I'm so sorry for him. He scanned it off and
He's like,
I was
"Well."
like, if I were you, I'd wash your feet. But I mean, that's just a suggestion.
It's like, well, I guess I'll throw these away.
good idea.
One of Stephanie's new rules I was unaware of. Got the strangest rules of life. It's like, can't sleep in socks. Check. So funny.
Well, if you're going to, you better put a fresh pair on at night, like the ones you're going your bedtime socks.
Do you have bed socks? Because you can't have street socks on.
Seriously.
It's so funny. But you know what's...
And I'm weird about feet.
Actually,
so you would
you know
think
what?
covering them up would be better for me, but
Honestly, there's nothing that you're telling me that is crazy. That's the thing.
I know. To you.
Like, I get it. I get it.
Okay, I would really like to know if anybody else thinks these things or if they're just unique to you and I.
You know what? I don't think people think about it the way we do. I think we think about these things and people go, it literally has never crossed my mind.
Well, our mother did.
Bed socks? Like what?
Our mother did teach
It makes
us that
sense though.
walking around barefoot anywhere in public besides your own home, you were susceptible to catching disease.
Oh yeah, she thought there was foot aids.
I know. I didn't want to say it because I'm
Why?
like, is that
It's true.
inappropriate?
No.
But she did. She's like, you know what? You just never know. She's like, 20 years from now, you'll thank me because they'll be like, we didn't know. You could get AIDS through your feet.
She's like, there could be foot aids, Jamie. And I'm like, well.
Dead dog serious too when she said it.
All right, fine. I guess.
But you know
there's
what?
foot
Have you
aids.
ever left the house without socks on?
No.
Have you ever walked a public street without? No.
No,
you haven't.
always have some kind of covering.
Even on the beach in Hawaii, I'll only take like a few steps. Like
I'm always afraid I'm going to step on something.
like from me too, from the
Yeah.
towel to the water, and that's
Yeah.
about it.
But I have to know the path pretty well.
Yeah, you're not going to see me strolling around, and with no shoes on ever.
That's dangerous.
Yeah, and gross.
But yes, I have, and I've read far too many. Am I the asshole for being mad that this person took off their shoes and socks on a plane? I'm like, no, you are not
No.
the asshole. They are the asshole.
They are.
That's one of those things. Like, why? Why would you do that?
Well, I mean,
like when we traveled. Okay, here's the thing. When we traveled from San Francisco to London last year, it was like our big trip.
Yeah.
Like we'd never done this trip before. We've never been that far away from home, and they give you like your own area to rest.
Well, you guys were fortunate enough to fly first class.
We didn't fly first class. But
I thought you did.
We flew business class,
Oh,
which
okay.
was. But yes, it was.
halfway in between coach and first.
It was the premium. It was the best option on the plane. So we got a bed. We got
lovely.
our chairs turn into beds.
They folded down so you could
whatever.
lay down,
We were able to elevate our legs and lay down and all the things. Anyway, I was so afraid to remove my shoes.
Oh, I know. Huh?
But I brought slippers, and I thought if I quickly switch out, there won't be a problem.
Oh my God, I almost would have gone to the bathroom, but
well,
are you allowed to spray like body spray, like
no.
Bath and Body Works?
I did it in the bathroom.
Yeah,
I did it in the bathroom because I'm like, I feel stale. You know, you feel stale, but
it's just a long time to be wearing the same thing.
Well, we changed into comfortable clothes right before we got on the plane.
Yeah. So you were fresh.
So we were like, yeah. And then once you get to the hotel, we immediately, we went back to bed actually when we got there. But yeah, it was weird to go, I don't want to take off my shoes, but I feel like I need to because
I just feel,
we're sleeping.
Right.
It's weird, right?
Yeah.
But I wasn't going to take off my socks. So I literally put on my slippers and just slept in them.
That is the one exception to my rule that I would make is that I'm not going to take off my socks to switch them out on a plane.
That's horrifying.
No matter what.
That's just too risky.
Yeah. But I probably would have taken some extra steps if it would have been me, just because I think of stuff like that. Like I would have foot powdered and maybe, double lotioned. I don't know.
It was
anything
a very
to try to make sure that there's no odor.
I was so paranoid about it.
Oh my God.
So paranoid about it. Because I'm like, I've been in the airport.
You know what? These things that people are like, God, that's so, who does that? And I'm like, really, the only person who it causes the most misery to is ourselves. Yeah. Because everything grosses us out or annoys us or makes us mad.
I don't want to be the annoying person that somebody goes, oh, did you see her? Like, I don't want to be that person, Right. Okay. The next one is talking to your seatmates throughout the whole flight.
Yeah, well, I've been a victim of this.
You've chatted it up?
No.
Oh, someone's chatted you?
Right. And you would never.
That happened to me too.
And you just feel like you're being rude. Like, how do you get out of that when you're sitting right next to the person?
I don't know, where were you going? Were you going to Arizona?
I was coming home from Arizona from visiting my daughter, so thank God it was a short flight. It was an hour.
That's good.
So, but she was drunk, and but she was so cute. She was young. She was in her early 20s. Mm-hmm. She was a newlywed. She owned a yoga studio. She was from Santa Monica.
She was adorable.
But just intoxicated.
Probably because she was nervous.
Potentially. It was a short flight, and her husband was picking her up at the airport. So
perfect.
she probably just like, and she was on a girls' trip, but everybody lived somewhere else. So
yeah,
she
a lot
was
of
coming
people.
home.
A lot of people go to Arizona.
So maybe she went to brunch because it was an early flight. I think we were coming home at like noon, and so she probably went to breakfast with her friends, or had been up all night partying, and who knows.
That happened to me on my way to Vegas. I was meeting Daryl. He was there for a thing, and he's like, "Oh, meet me. It'll be fun." I'm like, "Okay." So I get on a plane, and I'm going to Vegas, and I'm sitting next to a guy. He's probably our age at the time. And he's just chatting it up. And I'm like, okay. And this is before earphones and all the things. So, I mean, he's talk. And I'm like, oh, yeah, la, 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 la. So the plane's getting ready to land. And he goes, so what are you doing this weekend? I'm like, oh, I'm...
Were you alone?
Yeah, it was because I was flying to meet Daryl.
Oh, okay.
He was already there.
Yeah.
And I said, oh, I'm going to the iHeart Festival. And he goes, oh, that's awesome. He's like, hey, do you want to have dinner? And I go, that's really sweet. I go, but I'm married. And he's like, oh... Ignored me, acted like I didn't exist for the rest of the flight.
Sorry, I didn't know we were at Match.com Airlines.
Right? And then immediately gets on his phone and is like, flip. And I'm like, wow.
Well, you turned into a douchebag in 0.2 seconds.
Immediately. And I'm like, listen, if I had been single, I would have smelled that immediately.
Yeah.
But I wasn't even thinking of it. I don't think of myself as an attractive person to be asked out.
I don't know why you don't.
Because I was thinking like, I'm literally going to Vegas to meet my husband. I'm like, not even
in your
thinking
mind, but not, you're not wearing a sign on your forehead that says that.
Correct. However, when you're in a different mentality, I wasn't even thinking about. First of all, I'm on a plane. I'm anxious. What if I don't make it?
I know.
I'm thinking we're gonna crash.
No. I hear what you're saying, but I get flirted with every single day, almost every single day of my life. And you're like, I never get flirted with. I
don't.
I'm like, but I bet you do or would if you were out of that
probably
zone. Not that you shouldn't be in the zone of being married. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Just if I paid attention, maybe.
Yes.
Okay. And then
because 100% men find you attractive just by looking at you.
Maybe.
And there's, even if they notice the ginormous rock on your finger, they still, many don't care.
Many go, ooh, I don't have to commit to
Actually,
her.
yeah, they're like, cool, she's married, so am I. Awesome. No one's going to tell.
Yeah, right. And then this one, I have not come across this to a point where I would find it annoying, but apparently using your speakerphone before and after the flight.
I don't love this. People still do it.
One time I was on my way, this wasn't on a plane, but I was on my way I had just finished going to the doctor and I was on my way to the elevator and there was an older woman and she's sitting and she has her ear to her phone and she's talking, but it's on speakerphone.
Right, because she's deaf.
And I was like, wow. And I heard the entire conversation.
Well, in those situations, I give them slack. I cut them some slack.
Yeah, I did. I didn't judge.
And it's like, what? But I was in a training class the other day and we were actually in a classroom where we had to sit side by side at lab stations and we went on a break. I came back maybe 2 minutes early because I hate being late. And I sat down and the girl sitting next to me was watching Judge Judy on 10. It was as loud as it could go.
Wow.
And it was a dead quiet lab.
She just couldn't miss her Judge Judy?
Nope. She had the little stand, you can prop your phone up to where and she's working and typing on the computer about watching. No, you didn't, girl.
The
whole time.
God.
And I'm like, in the day of the earbud, it's just unnecessary.
We have earphones now. We have Beats.
And I do one bud. Because I'm deaf. Sure. So I need one ear so that if somebody walks up on me, I don't punch them, because I can't hear a goddamn thing. So I do one earbud. It's fine. I can hear exactly what's going on. I watched an entire episode of The Kardashians in this class. No one knew.
Yeah, because
unless they saw it.
Speakerphone your ass.
No, so so I kind of do find that annoying. Only if it's absolutely unavoidable and you have to do it, then I'm okay with that. But
it's funny.
90% of the time it's avoidable, so stop it.
Okay, and what's the last one?
Oh, the final. Number 7. Well, okay. Personal grooming at the seat, filing nails, cutting nails. Well, why did you have to talk about all things that are really foot or toe related or fingers?
I think because people
trimming beard. Yes, all of those things are horrible. Brushing your hair.
One time I was on my way home from Hawaii and it was a full flight and I don't even remember why, but we had the last row of the plane. Those are the worst.
They are the worst. That's usually because you bought your ticket last minute.
We did because it was a last minute decision, but it was the whole family. So we needed like a lot of seats.
So you do what you got to do.
The lady in front of me had hair down to her ass.
Oh God!
And it was one of the things where she literally leaned over and she put her hair behind the seat so like I could see her hair.
Ew!
And it was like
lady, that's what buns are for.
Super super uncaring of anyone else's personal space. Anyway, the plane goes. And then finally she gets up, and there was a lot of bad behavior on this plane, by the way. She gets up and starts doing yoga in the aisle.
Oh, shut the fuck up.
Brushing her hair. And I'm like, I'm right here. You go to the bathroom if you must.
Was she feral? I mean,
brush your fucking hair in the bathroom like a normal person. Like no one wants to see your decrepit, aged brush. By the way,
and your flaky skin and you're falling all over the floor.
Your disgusting sea-covered hair. Like what?
So gross.
And you know what? It was so bad. I was looking at him and I turned to Daryl. I go, her family is just like acting like this is just who she is.
They're used to it.
She's literally doing yoga pose. She's doing warrior pose in the aisle.
That is so gross.
What are we doing?
I don't understand you.
And you know what? I wish I could tell you this was the first time I've seen people do yoga.
You know what? That's the thing about
people do fucking yoga everywhere. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? It's 4 a.m. and I'm at the airport and I'm already pissed because nothing's open. I'm exhausted. Neon lighting. It's horrible.
Why do they not open things? So if you're traveling at that hour and you have a flight, open
anything, any kind of coffee,
anything.
I need something.
I'll even take the airport kiosk with one person that's like, "Can I help you?"
Yes,
hot dog or coffee.
I would like some Folgers crystals, please.
I'll take it.
Absolutely. I'll take whatever. I'll have Taster's Choice, whatever you got.
I'll do it.
Give it to me.
Packet creamers, no problem.
Give it to me. Give me 5 sugars.
All you have is sativa. Fine,
I'll take it. Anything. How does anyone function?
Why do they torture us? Because then your only option is once you get on the plane is to drink airplane coffee.
Potable water coffee, please?
No. So no wonder all of us drink alcohol. You're like, well, at least it's sanitary. And
I remember even going like, is the bar open even? He goes, no, it doesn't open until 6. I'm like, God damn it.
Those evil assholes.
God. It was insanity. But we were sitting there and I'm watching a woman do downward dog.
And that requires your butt to be in the air and sometimes spread your legs. I mean,
and I'm like, why are people doing this?
And this was probably pre-Lumi days when everything smelled.
It was disgusting. And I'm like, God, I can't. Why do people act feral?
I don't know.
At the airport.
And part of it is our own volition because we've now decided that it's not proper to judge We're not allowed to let anybody know what we feel. Do what you want to do. Do you, boo? And so this is what we get. Hey, mind your own business. I'm not. Am I harming you? No, I'm not. You don't like then don't look.
Oh, God, you're right.
Keep scrolling. Why does it bother you? It's my page. It's for me.
It's so true.
Stop.
Yeah, I don't know what's happening.
Because we like to hate people. That's why. And I hate you.
It's like, what is your most conservative opinion if you're liberal? I don't like people doing yoga at the airport. I find it offensive. I find it fucking offensive. I want people to start acting like we judge.
You don't know. She could have anxiety. And she wasn't allowed to bring her comfort ferret.
Take a pill like the rest of us.
Or 10 shots of Crown Royal like me. That's what I usually.
You can pregame in the parking lot, just like the rest of us.
You know what? It's funny because Jerry
whatever
said,
you got to do.
We've been talking about how it seems like you can get arrested on a plane or in an airport or get denied boarding so easily now.
I don't think it's that easy.
Well, I don't think it's that easy.
I think people are unhinged.
I do too, because he was like, Stephanie, he goes, I barely remember us flying to San Diego that time. We were so fucking wasted. I was like, yeah, I remember that. I'm like, I do remember, thank God. But yes, you're right. Yeah. I'm like, we were highly intoxicated. And he goes, we never got, asked like, sir, have you been drinking?
Oh, they do now.
Right.
Yeah.
I go, well, maybe it's just because people don't know how to act.
Well, if you act ridiculous,
because we were you wouldn't have known.
That happened to me once. I got a little too drunk. We were on our way to Anaheim, and so it's a very fast flight.
It is, thank God.
And for some reason, I just had one too many cocktails, and we were getting on the plane. And Daryl was, he's sober because he has more of a tolerance than I do. And I'm walking on, and they gave me the side eye, and Daryl's like, "Not a word.
Like, don't fucking say anything.
Just be quiet." You smell like booze, I'm sure, but just walk on the plane. Don't smile. Don't say hello. Just get into your seat.
Mind your business. Put your stuff away and
just sit down.
Be quiet. Yeah, and I think that's what we did.
You have to, man. And you just have to remember who you are, where you are, because you're not allowed.
Yeah, well, and that's
you're
the thing.
Not supposed to fly.
No, you're really not. Because they just don't, these days people are so crazy, sober. So
oh my God.
They can't have you being unpredictable.
When I see those crazy bitches who are in the plane going, "You're hurting me.
Oh my God.
Do you know who I am?" And I'm like, you are literally in public and you're behaving this way, like you're screaming at
I want to
people.
volunteer and be like, do you want me to help you get her fucking ass off the plane? Because I'm glad to do it.
Or what about the people that don't even make it on the plane? They're in the airport acting a fool.
I know.
And I just look at them and I'm like, how did we get to this? And then somebody said, they're like, oh no, this has always been happening. It's just we all have phones now.
That's true. I believe that's true. But I will say this, that the one good thing that has happened in the airline industry is that thankfully we have learned we've empowered our airline staff.
Oh, I know. Thank
God. Which before you weren't allowed, but now those people are like fucking Nazis. Like, don't fuck with me. I will ruin your day.
They're like, well, they're just like, I'm union. They're not firing me.
And not only that, but I mean, the airlines have really taken the stance of safety. It's like people are crazy. We can't have drunks, so they want them to enforce the rules.
Oh yeah.
And so they're going to stand behind them. Like, look.
Yeah, they're like, well, this is what you get. They are heroes.
They really are.
The shit they put up with. Oh my God. First of all, sometimes I fantasize and I would love to be a flight attendant for 5 minutes.
Yeah, I would still.
But yeah, that would be great. But yeah, I would also be one of those people like, put your fucking shoes on.
I know, right?
Where do you think you are? Get those on. This is a 45-minute flight, you asshole.
Yeah.
And they'd be like, you can't talk to me like that.
And by the way, oh, yes, I can. Smell.
Yes, I can actually.
Showered lately?
Get them on. Yeah. Now.
Right?
And they actually will say that having your shoes off is very dangerous.
If you were to get in a car accident, if you were to, people think I personally feel like if your plane crashes, you're dead, right?
It doesn't matter.
But if you ever watch the show Air Disasters, and I recommend that you do, there's 18 seasons of plane crashes.
Oh, Jesus. Right.
And it will tell you exactly. And shockingly, people live.
Oh,
they do. It depends on the crash, but unless you're, plummeting to the earth at 600 miles an hour, people do live because the pilots do try to land, and sometimes
of course they don't want to die.
Yeah, they do a half-assed job, and only half the people die. So I don't want to be shoeless,
having to walk
trying to climb out of a plane that's on fire, I'm in the jungle, and I was like, God damn it, why did I take my fucking shoes off?
Nope, or wearing flip-flops.
Or let them find me dead, barefoot. God. Can you imagine?
No.
Be like, here's your wife. Where's her shoes? No.
She would never.
They had to have been ripped off in the crash. There's no other way.
They definitely got sucked off, right? There's no way because she would never.
I know. Why do your pants always have to get sucked off when something bad happens to you?
Clothes just come off of your body.
Like I was
car crashes.
Yeah, I mean, or people who get like cotton riptides and stuff, and they're dragging them out of the and
ripped off.
They're naked from the waist down. They have the top on.
Just nature just goes. They have to be naked for this. Rip them off.
And at the time they're like, I didn't even care that I was naked. I was just so glad I was saved. I'm like, yes, we would all feel that way. Absolutely, we'd be so grateful.
And then
for our
4
life.
months later, you'll be like, I was naked when I got out.
And then every time you see that viral TikTok where it's fuzzed out, you're like, God damn it!
There's my
but
butt.
it wasn't fuzzed out for the 2 guys who yanked me out of the water. They saw it all.
It's so true.
Like she had to sit on her ass. Nobody likes to talk about that, but it's the truth.
I was working out. I got sweaty.
I sit a lot.
I'm sorry, okay?
I have an office job.
Anyway, all right. Well, that's the show.
Yeah, that was a lot.
I know. That was a lot.
But
a lot of stuff not to do, please.
But yes, I do hope that this has been an educational show
all,
for those of you.
People who are listening to this show go, 100%. I would never do any of those things.
I hope so.
If
you do any of them, I hope you're not sitting there indignant right now going, well.
I will not stop removing my shoes.
Yeah, you're being ridiculous.
I can't hear. I have to use the speakerphone.
No, you're being ridiculous.
You're dumb and ugly.
Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you for listening. We'll be back next week. Thanks. Bye.